Good evening, dear viewers. Gonna make a real short video about the article. Wasn't really planning on it because I figured all the bigger talking heads that are more important than I have pretty much said. Well, I figured they'd say what needed to be said, but after a couple of days, I've seen people like sniping at each other over it. I've seen weird arguments of skepticism about it, and I sort of feel like very few are taking the appropriate lessons from it. As an outsider looking in, I wasn't there when all this stuff went down. You know, I learned about the OSR in 2019 when I started reading about this weird game called Lamentations of the Flame Princess, and then I learned about a guy named Zach Ass, and then but I was like in love with his work. I was in love with a lot of stuff James Raggi was doing, and then I learned that James Raggi almost lost his business because of all this stuff, um, which was really upsetting to me because I'm like, wow, this bullshit. you know. I was also really surprised at how toxic the industry can be when we're just playing elf games. Um, and it saddens me that people are willing to destroy others just to get a leg up in the industry, to make a little extra money, have a little extra clout. I get it. It's a tight industry, and trying to be make it your career is almost impossible. Um, in some ways, that makes me lucky because I'm just doing this for fun, and I don't really care. But I think I think those who are directly affected have every right to be upset because I think, regardless of any journalistic ethical questions about the article's, creation, the fact remains these people did admit to it, and some of them actually seemed like they enjoyed it, which is really disturbing to me. I appreciate Grim Jim trying to take the high road. If I was in his position, I would be out for blood. I don't even know his full situation. I just know a little bit, and it would be enough for me to, go scorched earth. So he's a bigger man than I. But I think one of the things I wanted to point out, and the Red Room kind of pointed this out too. Um, I keep hearing people either say they've never heard of these people, or they're vaguely aware of them, or if they were around back in the day, I haven't heard of these people in quite some time. And I think that's something we need to keep in mind. This is really about the past, and the new crop of people, game designers, content creators that are out there, I think are the ones that we should continue to pay attention to. These other people are going to do what they're doing. I don't. They're never going to learn. They don't care. Um, but I think we should not worry about it. When I used to play Warhammer 40k, we had a strategy we called Ignore the Land Raider, because the Land Raider pops up. It's a really powerful tank, and it tends to absorb a lot of damage, and it could really screw up your tactics. Well, if you ignore the Land Raider and keep your eye on the objective, 9 times out of 10 you're going to succeed. Um, and that's kind of how I feel about this. These people are not relevant anymore. At least not to the circles that I've been in. And I think we're at a point now, a tipping point culturally in the West, where that behavior and the ideology that kind of, I shouldn't say ideology because it's more of a personality trait, because I also see it on the right side, it happening on the right side as well. But people are kind of fed up with that, the cancel culture, the backbiting, all because you don't like, you know. Uh, so so I think we're at a tipping point, and content creators like the Basic Expert, Scrying Dutchman, Victor Gorchev, and others like them, myself included, we just want a game, and we want to talk about games, and we really don't care who or what you're doing. I mean, I have my opinions about stuff in the really real world, And that might rub you the wrong way, but at the end of the day, like when I'm in game mode, that's all I really want to talk about. And I think that's the real takeaway here is that we can be better, and some of us already are. And um, yeah, I think that's really it. Like we know what we need to do moving forward. Just talk about games. Talk about cool mechanics and how to improve the hobby and advance the hobby. We don't need to act like crabs in a bucket or whatever expression you'd like to throw in there. So, um, and as far as the old timers that are like personally affected, I'm not going to tell you how to think, how to feel about it, because like I said, I probably would be raging pissed. But anyway, that's all I guess I want to say on that subject. Um, yeah, I'm gonna get back to gaming. Got a Lamentations game coming up. Gonna be working on a Walking Dead one shot, I think. Yeah, and then I don't know, figure something else out. I want to run another mini campaign, but anyway, yeah, article. It's a big deal, but it's not. It's a big deal because it confirms a lot, and it's a lesson. Like we know now what not to do, and we know who is doing it, and those of us who've made the decision a little while ago to not engage in that behavior, keep it up because it's just going to make the hobby a better place. All right. Good night, everybody.